Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to go over how to properly space swing door openings, which will also include how to cut your vertical studs for door openings as well as your floor track. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Since I already went ahead and installed the ceiling track for this video, I want to discuss the orientation of the flex L brackets for door openings. What you're going to want to do is have this portion of the L brackets away from the center of the door opening. Now this is going to come into play when we're setting the spacing for the studs, but you're going to need to do this before you attach your ceiling track. The only time the L bracket is going to be facing towards the door opening is with studs attaching to the existing wall. Now, in this case, those studs are going to be the established studs for your door opening, so that's not going to be an issue. But again, we're going to discuss that later on in this video. I just wanted to bring this to your attention with the ceiling track before you got started. When measuring for flex studs in door openings, your measurement will be from the floor to the ceiling and subtract 3/4 of an inch. What this does is it lets your stud go into the ceiling track properly and go directly to the floor. We're going to go ahead, take our measurement, and get our flex studs cut. With our door opening studs cut, we'll go ahead and get them installed. Again, this is going to run into the ceiling track and run directly to the floor. We'll go ahead and get the L bracket onto the stud. You're going to want this to be fairly tight to the floor, that way it's not floating or anything like that. We're going to get it roughly spaced for now, then we'll come back and we'll space it properly. So using the 3/4 inch framing screws, we're going to attach through the top hole. We'll skip one hole and we'll go to the third hole down. Attached, I'll go ahead and attach the other side door opening stud. Since our door opening is in the center of our run, we want to make sure we establish one of our vertical studs. First thing you're going to want to do is tighten the set screw in the L bracket so the top of the stud cannot move. From there, you want to make sure this stud's perfectly plumb. You can do this with a laser or you can do it with a level. This is important to make sure the door works properly. If you are attaching a vertical stud to the existing wall for a door opening, you want to make sure that that stud is perfectly plumb. Again, this is crucial for the door to work properly. Once you have the one side stud perfectly plumb, we can now take our floor track measurement. Before measuring for our floor track, the most important thing is to make sure the vertical flex stud is running all the way to the floor. The reason it does this is because the door jambs attach directly to these studs, and those door jambs run all the way to the floor. We'll go over how to install door jambs in a separate video, and we'll go ahead and take our floor track measurement. Now, since the stud is running directly to the floor, the flex track is going to butt into this flex stud. So when we take our measurement, you're going to measure from the wall to the inside point of this flex stud. We're going to go ahead and take our floor track measurement. Before installing your floor track, you want to make sure to slide in your flex L brackets. You want to make sure that the portion of the L bracket that slides into the track is matching the same direction as the L brackets in the ceiling track. The reason being is so you can slide the non-door opening flex studs back and forth to space them properly. So we're going to go ahead and get our flex L brackets slid into the floor track. With the L brackets installed, we now can install the floor track. So you'll want to do is line up on your layout lines. Slide the L bracket into the center portion of the flex stud in your door opening. We're going to go ahead and use our 3/4 inch framing screws and attach the L bracket to the flex stud. With the L bracket attached, the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to tighten the set screw on the L bracket. What this does is it anchors that L bracket exactly where it needs to be. We'll go ahead and tighten that up. Okay, with the set screw tight, the next thing we do is we actually take our anchoring screw and we run directly through one of the holes in the L bracket. What this is going to do is it's going to make this door opening solid. When you have the door hinging on it or you have the door shutting into the stud, it's going to help keep that vertical stud exactly where it needs to be. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to run our screw directly in the hole of the L bracket. With one side of our door frame established, we can now move on to spacing for our swing door opening. To do this, we're actually going to use our door header. The door headers come pre-cut whether you have a single door or a double door. I'll go ahead and get up on the ladder and show you how we're going to properly space the door opening. To use your door header as a spacing tool, what you'll want to do is have the long edge of your door header on the top side. From there, you'll press the door header onto the flex stud so it bottoms out. Then you'll bring up the opposite side of the door header so that it is touching the flex track. Now we're not going to insert the door header into the track, we're just going to be using it as a spacing tool. Then you'll bring your opposite side flex stud tight to the door header and make sure it bottoms out. Okay, now we're going to tighten our set screw so it locks the stud in place. With the top of our door opening spaced properly, we're now going to move to the floor. Same as the top of the opening, we're going to have the long edge of the header on the top side. We're going to go ahead and set it on our established side so it buries onto that flex stud. Then we're going to bring the opposite side of the stud and bring it tight to the door header. Okay, with that tight, we now have our spacing and we can measure for our floor track on this side of the opening. With our door opening spaced properly, we can now measure for our floor track. As you can see, I still have the door header installed. I want to leave that as a spacer. That way when we take this measurement, the stud is exactly where it needs to be. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to measure for our floor track. It's going to be the same as the other side. We'll get it cut and we'll get it installed. I've already went ahead and installed the floor track on this side of the opening. Same as the other side, we're going to run our anchoring screw through that flex L bracket to give it that strength. Once that's complete, your door opening has been framed. Once you have the door opening frame, you can go ahead and cut the studs that are running from track to track. If you have any questions on this, go ahead and check out our basic framing installation video, and that'll give you an idea how to do that. Before we end this video, I did want to bring up one situation, as when we're attaching to an existing wall, again, we want to make sure that that stud is perfectly plumb. From there, we can go ahead and we can properly space it using our door header, the same thing we did on this side of the opening. Once you have that opening established, then you can measure for your floor track, whether it be from the floor to that stud or whether it be post that stud, wherever your situation calls for. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, please contact our office.